How about them Cowboys?
Angry Cowboys Fan. Born to battle. Storm just means we never sell. America's team through thick and thin. When the sun shines bright, that's where we win. Angry Cowboys Fan.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation and Angry Cowboys fans around the world? Y'all know who it is. It's your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. And it seems as if the NFL landscape is going crazy over the fact that George Pickens has officially signed his franchise tag tender, according to Todd Archer. It seems as if the fan base is split when it comes to the topic of the franchise tag. There are talking heads, content creators, and fans who believe that George Pickens will hold out. There are fans, talking heads, and content creators who believe that he won't hold out. Some seem to want Jerry and Stephen Jones to trade George Pickens, while others hope a deal gets done before July 15th. On a segment of yesterday's episode of Speakeasy, TJ Houshmandzadeh, Emmanuel Acho, and Kieran Care Bear Hickey Simple discussed the whole George Pickens franchise tag situation and how it could impact the future moving forward. So we're going to take a listen to the 3 clips that I got for y'all, and y'all know what we're going to do. We're going to come back and unpack this raw and uncut. So, Angry Cowboys fans, let's go ahead and take a listen to the first clip from the Speakeasy podcast.
Normally, you're going to wait till at least the summer. Because now you got to go to mandatory mini camp. You got to report to training camp. But I know GP wanted to stay and wants to stay in Dallas. I do know that. He enjoyed his time there. He enjoyed playing for the Dallas Cowboys last season. The only part that you don't enjoy is the business side of it, and Stephen Jones coming out saying what he said. We're not signing him to extension. We're not trading him. I know that would piss me off, so I'm assuming it pissed him off as well.
Yeah.
But $27.3 million is more money than he's made in the entirety of his career, probably times 4. So it's hard to turn that money down, but he's being underpaid. Everybody knows that. But when we're not trading him. They'll trade him if the right offer comes around. They'll trade him because they know they're not extending him. They're not going to give him a deal. I mean, if he has another 1,400-yard season, they for sure going to franchise him again. And so then you're going to be put in a position where the fan base is really going to be, we got to sign him, we got to sign him, we got to sign him.
But the thing is, Cowboys Nation, they can't wait until the summer. They have a July 15th deadline where they have to come to a conclusion. Either they're going to come away with an agreement or he's going to go into the season on the franchise tag. TJ Houshmandzadeh and a number of Cowboys fans are saying that if George Pickens has another dope season, then the Dallas Cowboys are going to franchise tag him again. My question is this: how do y'all know this? What if he does exactly what they expect him to do? Do y'all really think that Jerry and Stephen Jones are going to tell him to go out there and do it for a 3rd time? At this point, I would really hope that they trade him from the organization if that were to happen. But let's go ahead and jump into the second clip so we can come back and talk about it. Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
It'd be negligent of you to allow George Pickens to play under the tag. When you represent George Pickens, you say, I'm going to promise you a brighter tomorrow. What is that brighter tomorrow? I'm going to get you out of an organization that historically hasn't thrown the ball the last decade plus, that is Pittsburgh, and get you to an organization that historically has thrown the ball the last half decade plus, that is the Dallas Cowboys. Check. Now, what I need you to do, George Pickens, because I just did my job, I need you to go ball. With the promise that if you go ball, I'm going to get you long-term paper. Not the promise that if you go ball, I'm going to make you have to go out there and ball one more time. So Mulugheta did his job. He got him out of Pittsburgh. He got him to the Dallas Cowboys. George Pickens did his job. I balled 1,400 yards, 8 or so plus touchdowns. Mulugheta, do your job again. I know he will. Mulugheta, do your job again. Get me my paper. You said if I ball, you're going to get me my long-term paper. I'm not going to watch Jackson Smith and Jigba get $160 million, $70 million guaranteed, and I get 27 guaranteed. I'm not watching that. Jackson Smith is going to get 3 times more guaranteed money, roughly 3 times more guaranteed money
Easily.
than I'm going to get, he's not 3 times a better player than me. He might be 1.3 times a better player than me, but he's not 3x a better player than me. But Jackson Smith and Jigba could tear his ACL tomorrow, God forbid, and he's going to have $70 million in the bank. George Pickens could tear his ACL tomorrow, God forbid, and he has $27 million in the bank. After taxes, $14 million in the bank. After his family, $7 million in the bank. And after you buy that house, about $3 million in the bank. So with all that being said,
I'm all set with that. We can go ahead and cut that short. But what are we talking about, Emmanuel Acho? Jackson Smith and Jigba is a Super Bowl winning wide receiver. Jackson Smith and Jigba is a true wide receiver 1 for the Seattle Seahawks. What are we talking about here? But allow George Pickens to play under the tag? It sounds as if George Pickens is David Mulugheta's employee instead of it being the other way around. As if David Mulugheta hired George Pickens. At the end of the day, a player's agent is supposed to do what the player wants and not the other way around. Why is Emmanuel Acho up there talking as if it's completely up to David Mulugheta if George Pickens plays on the franchise tag or not? I just don't get it, Cowboys Nation. Now let's go ahead and jump into the third clip while I turn off the damn ringer on my phone so we can come back and unpack this Raw and Uncut.
Do you think the situation in any way matters? He played for the Pittsburgh Steelers for so long, weren't capable of utilizing him to the best of his ability. Now, he's on one of the best offenses in the entire National Football League. He has a complimentary wide receiver who also could be wide receiver 1. He has a solid run game and a veteran quarterback who is going to air it out. That's a perfect situation for him to continue producing. He could go get paid stupid money for a horrible team. He could go to the Cardinals right now.
And every player will take that.
Every player, okay.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, like, do you think in any way he's like, I just go out ball, I do exactly what I just did this past season, and I could get, I could be the highest paid wide receiver in the game.
No,
that's what I was going to.
Why would they pay him next year if they ain't paying him this year? Because they can pay him less now. They're gonna pay him more next year. You can pay me less now, but you want to pay me more next year.
This is America's team.
Let me ask
this is
y'all
the
this.
Dallas Cowboys, man.
All right, Cowboys Nation. TJ Hausmann-Zada says something that I necessarily don't agree with, because he said that a player would take the money over being comfortable. He would take the money and being with a bum-ass team instead of taking a little bit less and going with a team that they're comfortable with. If we could take a look at Nakobe Dean and the fact that the Dallas Cowboys offered him more money to come be the Dallas Cowboys linebacker than the Las Vegas Raiders did, but he chose to go with the Las Vegas Raiders because his boy was there and it was more comfortable for him. But they say that none of what Care Bear said matters, Cowboys Nation. That the situation that a player is looking only to chase the bag and doesn't worry about the situation that they're going into. If that was the case, why did Pickens want to come to be a Dallas Cowboy as opposed to going to somewhere like the Las Vegas Raiders or to the Arizona Cardinals? Was the Dallas Cowboys offer the only offer on the books? Or did he like who he was being teamed up with when it comes to CeeDee Lamb or the person that's throwing him the football, which is Dak Prescott? I guess only him, his agent, and God really know that truth. But y'all ready for this Raw and Uncut? Y'all ready? Let's get it. Get ready for the Angry Cowboys fans, Raw and Uncut.
Man, keeping it real. Man, keep it real. That's real.
Now, I tell you, Cowboys Nation, we cannot get through an offseason without all the drama, can we? We can't get to the regular season without being on the front page of every single news magazine due to some type of drama that's brewing at the Star. This is one of those things that I just don't like about the Dallas Cowboys. The fact that Jerry and Stephen Jones have to create drama in order to keep the headlines talking about them. I bet my bottom dollar that if they were to sign George Pickens, they would still have the headlines talking about him. And as much as they tried changing this offseason, the more they stay the same. The fact that they use the franchise tag more often than any other team is an indictment on how they conduct business. You have fans who ask the question, why didn't they just get a deal done whenever they traded for him? Forgetting the fact that George Pickens' camp said that they wouldn't be negotiating until this offseason. I believe this is one of those reasons why they put the franchise tag on him this year. And then during the segment, you had the question that was asked, why would the Dallas Cowboys wait to sign him or want to sign him in 2027? I don't know. How about the fact that the biggest contract that the Dallas Cowboys will have to negotiate in 2027, other than George Pickens, is TJ Bass? They will have a brand new salary cap to work with and will have no players that will be commanding a superstar amount of money to be extended. This leaves so much room to get George Pickens' contract done, as well as potentially signing Quinnen Williams to a brand new contract. If you take a look at the players that'll be hitting free agency in 2027, you'll see that none of those players will be commanding top of the market money unless they ball the hell out this year. But you can tell who rocks with David Mulugheta and who doesn't rock with David Mulugheta. The ones that do, they'll continue to cover the players that are represented by David Mulugheta. Reporters like Adam Schefter, as well as the talking heads like Emmanuel Acho, will make him look like a saint, even though he's a part of the reason why George Pickens isn't signed to a long-term deal yet. And I'm not saying that it's all David Mulugheta's fault, because we all know that Jerry and Stephen Jones have a huge part into why he isn't signed yet. Jerry Jones played a huge part as to why Micah Parsons is a Green Bay Packer now. Instead of warring with each other, they should be coming together to try and get the best possible contract done for George Pickens. But both sides have their own agendas. Both sides have their own ways of doing business. David Mulugheta's wanting George Pickens to get the highest amount of money that he could possibly get, while Jerry and Stephen Jones want to be cheap. But you got some fans out there who believe that Jerry and Stephen Jones would sign George Pickens to whatever David Mulugheta would offer him on the table, while other fans believe that George Pickens should sign to whatever Jerry Jones offers him on the table. Both of those situations are not reality, Cowboys Nation. There's a gray area that they got to meet in, but when you have said sides saying that they won't negotiate, then it's going to be hard to get a deal done, isn't it? But at the end of the day, it's all on George Pickens. Whatever happens, it is up to George Pickens. Whether he plays on the franchise tag or whether he doesn't play on the franchise tag, it is up to George Pickens. What I hate is how some of these talking heads try to go out there and talk this young man into holding out through the airwaves. Not one of those talking heads will be giving him any type of money when he does hold out and he's missing game checks. Not one reporter will offer him money while he's holding out on his contract. And as far as George Pickens getting franchise tagged next year, I just don't see that happening, Cowboys Nation. At that point, I would be on board for him holding out or for him getting traded from the Dallas Cowboys, because that's just completely unfair. At least he would have a few M's in his pocket to be able to supplement the holdout as opposed to holding out this year. Especially if he were to ball out of control this year and Jerry and Stephen Jones wanted to be assholes and not give him the contract that he deserves. You can't expect a player to just play without any type of long-term security 2 years in a row. And as much as I think it's a dereliction of duty on Jerry Jones's behalf to not get a deal done this year, it would be even worse if they didn't get a deal done next year and he went in playing on the franchise tag for 2 years in a row. But we all know that Emmanuel Acho and David Mulugheta are friends. Anyone that's friends with an agent and that has a platform, they're going to get on their platform and make the agent look like the hero in the situation. Even if he's the barrier in getting his client paid on time, these talking heads are going to make it seem as if it's all on the organization while the agent just sits back as the innocent party in all this. I'm sorry, Cowboys Nation, but as much as I believe that Jerry and Stephen Jones screwed up contract negotiations with George Pickens, I feel the exact same way when it comes to his agent. They could have possibly gotten a deal done when they traded for George Pickens from the Pittsburgh Steelers, but it was David Mulugheta who was saying that they were not negotiating a long-term deal until the following offseason. Now, was that Jerry and Stephen Jones's fault, or was that the fault of George Pickens' agent? But as much as I want to see George Pickens signed to the Dallas Cowboys now, I kind of get where Jerry and Stephen Jones are coming from when it comes to this situation. They want to see him have consecutive years playing at the same level or higher than he did last year. And like I've said before, Cowboys Nation, Cowboys fans have complained after players get signed early and their talent falls right off a cliff. Now, what if we sign George Pickens to a high number and then his talent falls off a cliff? We would hear the same gripes from the fan base that we did after Michael Gallup and Ezekiel Elliott got their extensions. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. Cowboys Nation, what do you feel about what the guys over on Speakeasy had to say? Do you believe that George Pickens will play on the franchise tag this year, or will David Mulugheta allow him to get a deal done? Y'all know how we do. We always talk about it in the comments section. If you're digging this content and you want to help the channel reach its current goal of 20,000 subscribers, drop a like on this video, share it with anybody that you know is a Dallas Cowboys fan, and if you're on your mobile device and you haven't used them up yet, make sure you hype this video. Doing so will help get the content out to Cowboys Nation. They'll come over to the Angry Cowboys Fan YouTube channel and want to become Angry Cowboys fans themselves. And if you are DC for life and you're strapped in and ready to go when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys 2026 NFL season, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified whenever I go live, release another video, podcast episode, or film breakdowns. You can catch the Madden 26 or College Football 26 gameplay on my other channel, the Angry Cowboys Fan Gaming Channel. I'll make sure I put the link to that as well as the gamer tag in the description. Cowboys Nation, I just want our offseason to be close to the chest and drama-free. Can we get that before I eventually meet my Lord and Savior? Who knows, Cowboys Nation, but this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan, and I'm out. Dang, Angry Cowboys fan, you done made it through the entire video. But if you want more content, you can definitely go to this video right here. Or if you want the latest episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan podcast, you can go right here. But whatever you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, but remain DC for life.